You close your eyes, and the world around you begins to soften. The noise of the day fades, until there is only quiet. In that quiet, you step gently into a story that has been told for thousands of years. It is not a story of sudden battles or harsh cries. It is a story that moves like the slow turning of the earth, patient and unhurried. It is the beginning of the world, told in the hush of night, and you are invited to listen as it unfolds. At the very start, there was nothing you could touch, nothing you could hold. It was a vastness, a soft emptiness, and the Greeks gave it a name, chaos. Do not think of it as noise or confusion. Think of it as a quiet space, as wide as the night sky, waiting to be filled. You drift there for a while, floating in a gentle stillness, as if you are lying in a wide meadow before the dawn, the air cool and silent, the stars fading slowly above. From that endless quiet, something tender began to form. You might imagine the earth taking a breath, and in that breath came Gaia, the Great Mother. She was the ground beneath every step, the soil that would one day hold roots, the stone that would one day hold mountains. You picture her not as a sharp figure, but as a presence, wide and calm, stretching beneath your feet, steady and sure. Her embrace was the first comfort, the first home, as if the universe itself longed to cradle life. Alongside her, there was Eros, not the noisy passion that would come later, but a softer bond, a gentle pull that drew things together. It was the force that allowed the scattered to meet, the lonely to find companionship, the empty to be filled. You can imagine it as a thread of warm light winding through the darkness, reminding everything that it belonged somewhere, that it could rest against something else. It was love, not fiery, but quiet, steady, and lasting. One by one, the first shapes began to take form. There was Nyx, the night, spreading her cloak like velvet across the sky. You feel the cool weight of it now, as if the hush of a starless evening has settled around your shoulders. There was Erebus, the shadow, not frightening, but soft as twilight, filling the spaces between. The Greeks imagined these not as strangers or distant gods, but as elements of life that you could feel with every breath and night, the shadow, the air, and the earth. Time, in these earliest days, was not rushed. It did not chase you forward as clocks do now. It stretched gently, like a ribbon unrolled. You can almost sense how slow it moved, each moment resting fully before the next began. In that softness, the earth and the sky grew closer, leaning toward one another like companions. And in their closeness, the seeds of a family were planted.
This is where the Titans would one day come forth, but for now, you linger in the hush before their names are spoken, the stillness before the world fills with voices.
You breathe deeply, and you imagine Gaia gazing upward, waiting for the sky to take shape above her. From chaos came Ouranos, the heavens, vast and endless. His presence was the blue arch above, the starlight stretched wide, the gentle dome that made Gaia feel sheltered. Together, they were earth and sky, lying close, resting against each other as if the world itself needed a pair to hold it steady. You picture them as eternal companions, their silence heavy with possibility, their union the quiet promise of stories yet to come. This first family was not built with noise or clamor. It was born in patience, in the unhurried rhythm of creation. You can see Gaia spreading her arms wide, offering space for rivers, valleys, and mountains. You can see Ouranos resting overhead, covering her like a blanket of stars. Together, they formed a cradle, and in that cradle, the children of the earth and sky would find their place. But tonight, you stay with this beginning, this calm foundation, the hush before the household grows crowded. Think of it as you would think of a family tree, but instead of names written in ink, the branches are written in stone and air. The roots sink deep into the soil, steady and nourishing. The trunk is the sky, tall and strong. You stand at the base, looking upward, knowing that many generations will spread from this first union. Yet, you are in no hurry to climb. You linger at the roots, where the silence is gentle, and the soil is warm, and the air above is wide. The Greeks, long ago, told these stories by firelight. You can imagine the crackle of logs, the hush of listeners leaning closer, the slow voice of an elder speaking into the night. They did not rush the telling, for it was not a tale to be finished quickly. It was a tale to rest in, the way you rest now. Every word was like a step on soft earth, every name a star placed slowly in the sky. You, too, can let these words settle, unhurried, carrying you deeper into calm. You breathe again, slower now. You feel how the story is less about noise and more about rhythm, less about action and more about presence. You are at the beginning, where chaos is still near, where Gaia stretches beneath and Ouranos rests above. The family of Titans is waiting, just beyond the horizon, but for tonight, you are content to stay in this quiet beginning. You let the vastness hold you. You let the hush of creation surround you. And as your breath steadies, the story rocks you gently, like the earth itself humming a lullaby beneath your pillow. You are still resting in the hush of beginnings, where silence feels like a soft blanket spread across the universe. Shapes of earth and sky are clearer now. You linger with Gaia, the great earth, and Ouranos, the wide heavens. Their names have been whispered for thousands of years, and yet they arrive to you as gently as the evening breeze drifting through a window. You imagine Gaia lying beneath you, steady and solid. She is the firmness beneath every step, the brown soil that welcomes seeds, the rock that bears weight without complaint. The body is broad and generous, and in her presence, you sense the quiet patience of a mother who has no need to hurry. She does not speak, but you can almost feel her heartbeat, low, deep, and steady, as if the earth itself is breathing beneath your bed. Above her, Ouranos spreads wide. He is the sky that stretches past your sight, the arching dome painted with stars. You picture him not as a sharp figure, but as a presence, endless and protective, like a ceiling that will never fall. His quiet is different from Gaia's. Where she is steady, he is vast. Where she holds, he covers. Together, they form a home so simple and so complete that you feel safe inside it, as though you are lying between earth and sky yourself, perfectly sheltered. The Greeks told that Gaia and Ouranos were the first pair, the first parents. Before you think of them as rulers or stern gods, imagine them instead as two companions leaning close, filling the emptiness with comfort. Their bond was not rushed or noisy. It was as gentle as the morning light touching the hills, as patient as the night returning each evening without fail. Their togetherness was the cradle in which life could rest. In the soft rhythm of their union, children began to stir. The Titans were born, not all at once, but slowly, each a new branch in the family tree. You can imagine Gaia and Ouranos gazing at their children with a still pride, not speaking, only watching as names formed one by one. Oceanus, the great river that would encircle the earth. Hyperion, the light. She does not speak, but you can almost feel her heartbeat, low, deep, and steady, as if the earth itself is breathing beneath your bed. Above her, Ouranos spreads wide. He is the sky that stretches past your sight, the arching dome painted with stars. She does not speak, but you can almost feel her heartbeat, low, deep, and steady, as if the earth itself is breathing beneath your bed. Above her, Ouranos spreads wide. He is the sky that stretches past your sight, the arching dome painted with stars. She does not speak, but you can almost feel her heartbeat, low, deep, and steady, as if the earth itself is breathing beneath your bed. Above her, Ouranos spreads wide. He is the sky that stretches past your sight, the arching dome painted with stars. His starry cloak covers the children, wrapping them in night and in day. He offers space, so they can grow upward and outward. Yet there is a distance in him, too. Where Gaia is close, Ouranos is far. Where she presses against, he pulls away. You may picture their relationship as a balance, one rooted, the other soaring, one carrying, the other covering. Together, they form the frame within which all else would be built. The union of earth and sky was not always gentle. The stories whisper of strain, of distance, of weight. Ouranos pressed too close, covering Gaia so tightly that her children were trapped within her. Imagine the heaviness of soil with no air, of roots unable to breathe. The children stirred in discomfort, restless beneath the surface. Gaia felt their weight and longed for space, longed for relief. Yet even here, the story is told slowly, not as a clash, but as the patient tension of opposites living side by side. For now, you focus on the still moments. You picture Gaia lying wide, her green slopes rising softly, her rivers winding like threads of silver. You picture Ouranos stretched above, his deep blues and purples spangled with stars. Together, they form a picture of harmony that is easy to rest inside. The children, the Titans, are not yet restless, not yet in conflict. They are simply names waiting to unfold, resting in the embrace of earth and sky. You notice how the Greeks told this story not to frighten, but to explain. Why is there earth beneath your feet? Because Gaia lies there. Why is there sky above your head? Because Ouranos stretches over you. Why do families grow? Why do parents and children sometimes strain against each other? Because even in the beginning, the first family held both comfort and weight. Rest in this explanation, simple and soft, as though someone has answered your questions without raising their voice. You breathe more deeply, and the world feels steady. You are between Gaia and Ouranos, the first parents, the first shelter. Their story moves slowly, like a lullaby hummed across centuries. You do not need to know every detail now. You only need to feel their presence, the firm earth beneath, the endless sky above, and the hush that holds them both.
The Titans are waiting, just beyond, but for now you are safe in this quiet, between the mother and the heavens where everything begins and nothing yet has ended.
You are still lying between earth and sky, feeling Gaia's steady weight beneath you and Ouranos' vast dome above. In that gentle space, the hush deepens, and slowly, quietly, their children come forward. They're not introduced all at once. They step into your awareness like stars appearing one by one in the twilight, each with its own soft glow. These are the Titans, the first family of the earth and the heavens. You imagine Gaia's arms spreading wide, welcoming her children with patience. Ouranos, too, stretches to make room, though his presence remains distant. One by one, the names unfold. You do not rush them. You let each name settle, like a bead placed gently on a string, forming a pattern that is meant to last forever. The first you meet is Oceanus. Picture him as a river that does not end, flowing gently around the rim of the earth. His waters are calm, not roaring or fierce, but steady, wrapping the world in a soft embrace.
You hear the trickle of streams, the hush of waves lapping at shores, and you know his presence is not threatening, it is protective, a boundary that says, here's the edge of all things.
You rest in that thought, safe and contained. Next is Hyperion, the Titan of light. He is not the blinding sun that burns your eyes, but a golden warmth that spreads across fields at dawn. You feel him on your skin like the touch of morning through a window, soft and unhurried. His glow is the rhythm of day rising, never rushed, always certain. He carries brightness without noise, a gentle guide who tells you that morning will always come. With him comes Theia, the shining one. She is brilliance made gentle, the gleam of precious stones, the shimmer of a horizon after rain.
Imagine her as the soft sparkle that makes the ordinary seem beautiful, the way light plays across water or the way silver threads glisten in hair.
She is radiance without glare, light that soothes instead of startles. Then there is Mnemosyne, memory itself. The gift is not a heavy weight of the past, but a quiet thread that keeps you from drifting apart. She is the soft murmur that reminds you who you are, the way old songs return to you when you are half asleep, the way familiar scents bring back faces long gone. Her memory is not sharp but comforting, like a grandmother's story told again and again until it becomes part of your own breath. One by one, the family grows. There is Tethys, the nurturing waters, the streams that feed the earth. You picture her as small rivulets winding gently through valleys, offering drink to roots and animals alike. Her gift is the gift of care, quiet and unnoticed, but vital. There is the Mies, order and fairness. She does not shout her rules. She is the balance you sense when day follows night, when the seasons turn in their patient circle. Her presence is felt in harmony, in the way everything seems to take its place without force. She is not law as punishment. She is law as comfort, the reassurance that the world has rhythm. You pause with each name, letting them linger like a slow procession of figures entering a hall. Each Titan is not a warrior yet, not a rival. Each is simply a presence, a quality of the world given shape. You imagine them seated quietly, side by side, their roles gentle, their gifts steady. The family tree extends further. Bias, Cos, and Iapetus, their names whisper through the hush. You do not need to grasp every detail of their domains tonight. It is enough to know they exist, forming pillars, adding strength, shaping the wide household of earth and sky. Their presence is not hurried or loud. They are part of the structure, the background hum of existence. And then, among them all, you find Ray. She is warmth, She is nurture. She is the mother's touch in the Titan family. You linger with her a moment longer. You see her cradling, protecting, her face soft with care.
In her, the promise of generations to come begins to stir, though for now she is simply a daughter of earth and sky, learning the quiet rhythm of love.
There are others, many names, many presences. Together, they form a circle around Gaia, around Ouranos, like children gathered close at the hearth. You can see them not as fierce gods, but as family sitting in calm companionship. Their laughter is not yet heard, their quarrels not yet begun. For now, they are simply there, filling the once empty space with gentle company. As you rest in their presence, you notice how the Greeks built the world out of these figures.
Instead of asking what is the sea, they answered, it is Oceanus. Instead of wondering why memory lingers, they said, it is Mnemosyne. Instead of searching for light, they whispered, it is Hyperion. Every piece of the world was given a name, every name a face, every face a place in the family.
And by knowing the family, you knew the world. You breathe slowly, and the story wraps you in calm. You picture a hall of titans, tall and serene, their faces calm, their presence steady. No voices are raised, no conflict has begun. They're simply waiting, filling the universe with their quiet existence.
It is like being in a room where many generations sit together, each with their own memory, their own gift, their own place, and no one is in a hurry to leave.
This is the family you have entered, the children of Gaia and Ouranos, the first household of gods, the foundation of the myths to come. Tonight, you do not rush ahead. You do not press into their struggles or their wars. You linger here with their names, their qualities, their gentle company. You let them surround you like a circle of guardians, silent and calm, as you breathe deeper, slower, and steadier. The story continues, but for now you are at peace, surrounded by the children of earth and sky, resting in the hush of their eternal presence. You are still seated in the quiet circle of the Titans, the children of earth and sky. Around you, their names drift softly, like lanterns glowing in the dark. Each name is more than a sound. Each is a doorway into a part of the world, a reminder that every corner of life carries its own presence. The Greeks called this great gathering a house, and you rest inside it now, house of many names. Imagine a home that is not built of wood or stone, but of qualities and gifts. Each room is a presence, each hallway a story, each member a voice that hums quietly through the night. You walk slowly through this house, not rushing, but pausing in each space, feeling what it has to offer. The first room belongs to Oceanus. His name is like a flowing stream, endless and calm. In his chamber, you hear the trickle of rivers, the hush of tides rising and falling. He does not raise storms, he simply flows. His presence tells you that the world is encircled by water, and that water itself is a guardian, a soft edge keeping the world whole. Next you drift into the chamber of Tethys, his companion. Her waters are closer, more intimate. They wind through valleys, quench thirst, feed crops. She is the giver of nourishment, the stream that whispers through quiet villages, the spring that fills a clay jar. In her, you hear the lull of caregiving, the kindness of small acts that sustain life. As you move, you enter the golden space of Hyperion. The light here is soft, not dazzling. It is the glow of morning, the warmth on your face as you sit by a window. He is brightness made gentle, steady as the rising sun. His presence is a reminder that day will always return, that darkness will always be followed by light. Alongside him shines Thea, whose brilliance is subtler still. Her name lingers in gems and precious metals, in the sparkle that lifts your spirit when you notice beauty in ordinary things. You may picture her as the gleam on a wedding ring, the shimmer on a still lake, the way candlelight glows against glass. She reminds you that even the simplest life can carry brightness. In another chamber sits Mnemosyne, memory. Her presence is not heavy but comforting. She whispers old songs, recalls faces long gone, carries words from the past into the present. She is the reason stories remain, the reason names survive the centuries. You feel her close as you listen, because she is the one who keeps this story alive in the first place. She is memory itself, sitting quietly in the house of names, smiling softly, never letting the past be forgotten. Then you meet Themis, the Titan of order. Her presence is calm, a reassurance that life follows a rhythm. She is the balance of day and night, the turning of seasons, the pattern that makes sense of change. She does not scold or command. She simply ensures that everything finds its place. Her justice is not punishment, it is harmony. In her chamber, you feel steady, as if you are rocking gently in the tide of time. You notice other presences, too. Zeus, the pillar of the heavens, silent and strong. Zeus, wisdom, a steady spark of thought that lingers quietly in the back of your mind. Iapetus, a name tied to mortality, though tonight you feel him only as a reminder that life, too, has rhythm and rest. And among them, you pause again with Re. Her name is soft, her presence nurturing. She is the one who will cradle the next generation, who will teach the Olympians how to endure. But for now she is simply a daughter, sitting quietly, learning from her mother Gaia, feeling the weight of the sky above. You linger with her, sensing that she will carry her own quiet strength when the time comes. This house of titans is not a place of noise. It is a place of presence. Each name is like a candle, casting its own small circle of light. Together, they form a household of qualities, of forces, of truths. Imagine sitting in a hall where each titan is gathered, not arguing, not restless, but waiting, patient, eternal. Their names hum softly around you, like a low chorus that soothes instead of startles. You may think of it as a family tree, but also as a map. Every part of the world, water, light, memory, order, has its place, and every place has a name. You see how the Greeks built comfort in this way, giving the unknown a face, giving the vast a familiar sound. To know the names was to know the world, and to recite them was to feel that nothing was lost, nothing was forgotten. You breathe more deeply, and the house of many names becomes your shelter. The walls are not stone, but memory. The ceiling is not wood, but sky. The floor is not tile, but earth. Around you, the titans keep watch, each in their quiet room, each offering their gentle gift. You do not feel alone here. You feel surrounded, cared for, steadied by their silent company. The story of the titans is often told with struggle, with battles and betrayals. But tonight you linger in this calmer truth. Before the storms came, before the war began, there was a household, steady and vast, filled with names that shaped the world. You rest in that house now, your breath slow, your body warm, as though the titans themselves are keeping you safe in their eternal hall. You are still wandering through the house of many names, and now the path leads you into the quieter wings of the Titan family, where water and night dwell. These are not noisy places. They are spaces where you can pause, listen, and feel the rhythm of the natural world, slow, steady, and eternal. First, you come to the rivers. They wind like silver threads through Gaia's body, feeding her soil, refreshing her slopes. The name of Oceanus lingers again, for he was not a single river, but the great current encircling the earth. Imagine standing at the edge of the world, where a calm stream stretches endlessly, wrapping everything in a quiet embrace. The Greeks believed this river marked the border of all things, a circle of protection.
For you, it is simply a boundary of comfort, a soft line that says you are safe within. From Oceanus came the countless rivers and streams that carved valleys, filled springs, and trickled through villages.
You hear them now, gentle babbling over stones, the hushed song of water weaving its way across the land. Each stream is like a lullaby, repeating its tune without end, steady enough to ease you into sleep. Alongside him is Tethys, whose presence is softer still. She is not the great river, but the small waters, the ones you dip your hands into, the ones that quench thirst and water the fields. Her gift is care, the unseen kindness of refreshment. You picture her bending low, pouring water into clay jars, guiding streams into roots. She is the hum of life sustained, the quiet giver who asks nothing in return. Beyond the rivers lies the sea. The Greeks imagined the sea not as a single god, but as a living expanse, born of these titan waters. Tonight, you stand on a calm shore, the waves lapping gently, each breath of the sea matching your own. There is no storm here, no crash of thunder. Only the eternal rhythm of water folding into itself, back and forth, like the rocking of a cradle. As you listen, the sound of water fades into the sound of night. From Gaia and chaos, another child was born, Nyx, the night itself. She spreads her cloak above you, darker than the deepest shadow, softer than velvet. Night in her presence is not frightening. It is a mother's blanket, covering the sky with rest. You lie beneath it, and every star seems like a pinprick in her fabric, tiny lights sewn into her dark garment. Nex was powerful, but she moved quietly. Her children were many: sleep, dreams, even death, but you do not need to think of those now. Tonight, you feel only her first gift: stillness. She hushes the world, so that even rivers slow, even winds soften, even voices fall to whispers. She is the one who makes rest possible, the one who closes the day and offers the peace of night. Alongside her was Erebus, the shadow. It is not heavy darkness, but the soft shade that allows your eyes to close, the calm in between light and night. Erebus is the pause, the breath before dreams begin. He is the comfort of closing a curtain, of dimming a lamp, of sinking slowly into sleep. Together, Nex and Erebus wove a world where night could be a friend, where rest was not feared but welcomed. You walk through their realm gently, feeling how each element of nature is part of this Titan household. The rivers, the seas, the night sky, all are members of the same family, each with their quiet duty. None are hurried. None are loud. They simply exist, steady and eternal, reminding you that the world, at its heart, is built for rhythm and rest. You pause at the edge of the great river Oceanus. The water moves endlessly, but never in haste. You imagine dipping your hand into it, feeling the cool touch that refreshes without startling. The flow is smooth, like time itself moving gently forward. Beside you, Nyx settles her dark cloak, the stars above shining faintly, like whispers in the silence. The sea breathes, the rivers hum, and you are held in their embrace. The Greeks, telling these stories, were not only describing gods, they were describing life as they knew it, the way rivers fed them, the way night gave them rest, the way the sea marked both mystery and comfort. By giving these forces names, they made them companions. And tonight, they are your companions too, guiding you deeper into quiet. You take another breath, and the House of Titans feels broader now, extending into water and sky, into night and shadow. It is not a house of stone, but a house of nature, each force taking its place as a gentle guardian. You are not alone in the dark. You are surrounded by rivers, seas, and night, all watching over you with patience. And as you rest here, you know the story is still moving forward. From this family of Titans, more children will come, more roles will be filled. The household will grow, and so will the tensions. But tonight, you are not in the storm. You are in the hush before it, where water laps, where shadows gather, where night stretches calm and endless above. You lie between earth and sky, hearing the lull of rivers, the hush of seas, the embrace of night. And slowly, softly, you drift with them, carried on their eternal tide. You remain within the quiet household of the Titans, surrounded by rivers, seas, and the night sky. Yet among all the names, one figure seems to glow with a softer light. It is Rhea, daughter of Gaia and Ouranos, sister to the Titans and mother to a future that waits just beyond the horizon. The name drifts through the hall like a gentle note, calm and reassuring. Tonight, you rest with her presence, watching her quiet vigil over the generations. Rhea is not thunder, nor fire, nor storm. She is patience, endurance, and care. You might picture her seated at the edge of a hearth, hands folded, her eyes lowered in watchfulness. She is not restless, nor hurried. She simply waits, her stillness carrying a strength that needs no display. In her you sense the same qualities you feel in every mother who has ever held a household together, not with shouts or commands, but with quiet, steady love. The Greeks called Rhea the mother of the Olympians, but that would come later. For now, she is simply a daughter, watching, listening, learning in the wide house of the Titans. She sees the strength of Hyperion, the shimmer of the air, the memory of Mnemosyne, the order of the Mys. She gathers each of these gifts quietly, weaving them into her own character. You imagine her as a loom, collecting the threads of her siblings, preparing to weave a fabric that will cover the next generation. Her place is not loud, but it is central. Without her, the line of gods would not continue. Without her, the household of Titans would end in silence. Yet she asks for no recognition. She keeps her vigil gently, like a nurse tending a flame so it will not go out, like a mother bird warming eggs before they hatch. You sit with her in this quiet moment. Around you, the rivers flow, the seas breathe, the night spreads its cloak, and Rhea is here too. Her presence steady as stone, soft as the hush of evening. She does not look to the past with longing, nor to the future with anxiety. She lives in the pause between, keeping watch. Her name, in Greek, was linked to flow, to movement, to ease. You may imagine her as the soft motion of time itself, not rushing, not stumbling, but moving steadily forward. She is the rhythm of breath, the swing of a cradle, the pattern of seasons that return year after year. She is life continuing, not in bursts of noise, but in steady persistence. As the story of the Titans unfolds, Rhea will face sorrow. She will see her children threatened, and she will be forced to act with cunning and courage. But tonight, you do not linger in her struggle. Tonight, you remain with her watchfulness, her vigil. You see her resting in the hall, her face calm, her heart steady, knowing that change will come but refusing to break beneath it. The Greeks told that Rhea was mother to 6 children: Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, Poseidon, and Zeus. These names will one day shape the world. Yet for now, they are only possibilities, held close within her care, like seeds waiting beneath the soil. You can imagine her as Gaia once was, carrying life within, sheltering it against the weight of the sky. What makes Rhea's story tender is not the grandeur of her children, but the quiet courage of her love. When Kronos, her consort, sought to swallow their offspring, she did not raise an army. She did not storm against him. She simply protected, one child at a time, wrapping Zeus in secret, hiding him in safety. Her strength was the strength of mothers everywhere, quiet, persistent, unyielding in devotion. Tonight, you see her before all of that. She has not yet hidden her son. She has not yet faced the sorrow of loss. She is only keeping vigil, waiting in patience, learning the rhythm of her family, preparing for the day when her role will come. Feel her presence beside you like a hand resting gently on yours, assuring you that even in silence, even in waiting, love is at work. In the House of Titans, many names shimmer with power: Hyperion's light, Oceanus river, the Misorder. But it is Rhea who feels closest, because she is not distant like the sky nor vast like the sea. She is near, warm, human in her devotion. She reminds you of every grandmother telling stories by the fire, every mother tucking children into bed, every gentle soul who kept watch when the world seemed uncertain. You close your eyes, and you picture her vigil. The quiet hall, lit by soft firelight. Around her, her brothers and sisters speak in low tones, but she listens more than she speaks. Her heart is calm, her gaze steady. She is already thinking of the future, already shaping the story that will carry beyond the Titans, yet she does not rush it. She lets the moment rest, lets the house of her parents hold her, lets time move as slowly as it must. You breathe with her now, your chest rising and falling in her rhythm. You, too, are keeping vigil, not for gods or for children yet unborn, but for your own peace. You wait with her, quietly, knowing that patience is its own kind of strength. And as you do, the night deepens, the rivers murmur, the seas breathe, and the story continues, softly, steadily, like the flow of time itself. You remain in the quiet hall of the Titans, where Rhea keeps a gentle vigil. Yet slowly, the story shifts its weight. The name of Kronos begins to stir, and with it comes the steady beat of time. He was the youngest of Gaia and Ouranos children, yet the one who would shape their fate. His presence is not sudden thunder, not roaring fire, but the slow tick of a clock, the steady rhythm that marks every passing moment. Tonight, you rest within his silent rule. Imagine Kronos not as a rushing warrior, but as a figure who moves carefully, deliberately. His steps are measured, his gaze steady. He listens to the whispers of his mother Gaia, who urged him to act against his father. He takes the sickle she offers, sharp yet silent, and he waits for the right moment. There is no clash of swords here, no deafening battle. Only a still night, a quiet sun, and the unhurried decision that changes everything. In time, Kronos strikes. Ouranos is cut away from Gaia, and the sky is lifted from the earth. The children who were hidden are freed. The world breathes again. Yet the act itself feels less like violence and more like inevitability, like the slow shifting of mountains or the patient carving of rivers. You picture it not as a sudden roar, but as a weight being moved, a pressure lifted, a long sigh released into the night. With Ouranos gone, Kronos becomes ruler. His reign is often described as the Golden Age, an era of peace, when humans lived simply, without toil or sorrow. Imagine a world where the fields grew without labor, where fruit fell easily into waiting hands, where the days drifted like lazy clouds across the sky. There was no hunger, no war, no need for greed. Life was slow, untroubled, like an endless afternoon in the warmth of summer. Yet Kronos himself was never fully at peace. He had heard the prophecy that one of his children would rise against him, as he had risen against his own father. The thought settled over him like a shadow, quiet but unshakable. Fear does not always come with noise. Sometimes it whispers, repeating itself softly until it fills every corner of the mind. Kronos listened to that whisper, and it guided his hand. When Rhea bore him children, Kronos swallowed them, one by one. Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, Poseidon, all slipped into his silent darkness. He did not roar or rage as he did it. He simply opened his mouth and took them in, the way time swallows every moment, the way days vanish behind you without sound. His rule was quiet, but it was heavy, pressing down on Rhea's heart as she watched her children disappear. Pause with that image, not rushing past it. You think of how time itself can feel steady, inevitable, swallowing the hours before you realize they are gone. Kronos was not only a ruler, he was time personified. His reign was the reign of inevitability, the hush of days passing into nights, the quiet truth that nothing stays forever. And yet, even in this, there is calm, for his rule was not all sorrow. The earth still flourished, the seas still breathed, the rivers still sang. People lived gently, free of burden. The silence of Kronos' reign was heavy, but it was also golden, carrying a rhythm that soothed as much as it unsettled. You breathe with that rhythm now, steady and slow, as though Kronos himself were marking the pace of your rest. Rhea, in her quiet courage, kept her vigil through it all. When her youngest child, Zeus, was born, she wrapped him in secrecy, hiding him away, offering Kronos a stone instead. The child lived, cradled by earth and nurtured in secret, while time itself seemed unaware. Even here, you feel the hush of her devotion, the still persistence of love moving quietly beneath the shadow of fear. Kronos' silent rule lasted for ages, his presence stretching like the endless horizon. His reign was not marked by noise, but by the absence of it, the absence of labor, of war, of hunger, and also the absence of his children, hidden within him. It was a reign of paradox. Gentle on the world, heavy on the heart. You rest in that paradox now, feeling both the peace and the weight, both the calm and the unease. The Greeks remembered his rule as a time when everything was easy, when the world was generous. Yet they also remembered the shadow he carried, the whisper of prophecy, the swallowing of children. In this tension, the story slows. You are not hurried toward its resolution. You linger here, in the quiet of Kronos' reign, where every breath feels like another second passing, steady and certain. You breathe with him now, matching your rhythm to his. Inhale, exhale. Time moves forward. Inhale, exhale. Time swallows the moment. Inhale, exhale. You rest within his silence, feeling the inevitability of days slipping away, but also the comfort of their steady pace. For even in the shadow of prophecy, Kronos held the world in calm, and you, too, are held in that calm tonight. You are still within the hush of Kronos' reign, where time itself rules quietly, swallowing moments the way he swallowed his children. Yet in that silence, something softer begins to stir. It is not thunder, nor the clamor of voices. It is a whisper, a prophecy that drifts like wind through reeds, faint yet impossible to ignore. Tonight, you linger with those whispers, feeling how prophecy moves not in shouts, but in quiet certainty. The Greeks believed that prophecy was woven into the fabric of the world. It was not a sudden cry, but a murmur that slipped into ears and hearts. For Kronos, the whisper was simple: one of your own children will overthrow you, just as you overthrew your father. That single line hummed endlessly in his mind. He could not push it away. He could not silence it. It stayed with him like a shadow at noon, faint but always present. You know what it feels like to carry a thought that will not leave. It is not always loud. Sometimes it is a soft repetition, a gentle tug at the edge of awareness. It waits when you wake, lingers when you sleep, threads itself through every quiet moment. That is how Kronos carried the prophecy. Even in the Golden Age, when humans lived gently, when fields bore fruit without effort, he heard it. A faint voice reminding him that time, too, would one day be undone. Prophecies in Greece were not shouts from the sky. They were soft messages, spoken in caves, murmured by priestesses, drifting out of shadows. You might imagine the oracle at Delphi, seated in silence, the faint curl of smoke rising, her words slow and low. Prophecy was not meant to startle. It was meant to sink in, like water seeping into soil, slowly, steadily, until it became part of the earth itself. The Kronos, the whisper was inescapable. He had risen against his father, Ouranos. He had cut the bond of earth and sky. He knew the cycle. If he had toppled one, then surely he, too, would be toppled. The prophecy did not threaten him with specifics. It did not say which child, or when. It only whispered, patient and certain, it will happen. That certainty was heavier than any army. So Kronos swallowed his children. Not with rage, but with fear. Not with noise, but with the hush of inevitability. Each time, the whisper seemed to fade, yet it always returned. It hummed in the silence after he ate, in the dark halls where Rhea kept her vigil, in the still nights when even the rivers seemed to hold their breath. Prophecy is not silenced by action. It waits. You imagine sitting beside Kronos in those nights. His throne is tall, his rule unchallenged, his people content. Yet his eyes are never free. They glance into the shadows, listening for the whisper. His hands are never fully at rest. They tighten as though gripping time itself, as though he could hold the future still. But time cannot be held. It moves, steadily, gently, like your own breath, slipping forward even as you try to pause. Re, too, the prophecy whispered. She heard it not as doom, but as promise. A child would rise. A son would live. Her heart, though heavy with loss, carried a quiet hope. In her mind, the whisper was not cruel but kind, telling her that the swallowing would not last forever, that one day her children would breathe again. Linger with her hope, soft and hidden, like a candle flame cupped in two hands. Prophecy has many tones. To Kronos, it was fear. To Rei, it was comfort. To the world itself, it was balance. For the Greeks believed that no rain, however strong, could last forever. The wheel turned, the cycle repeated. Just as day follows night, just as seasons return, so too would rulers rise and fall. It was not punishment, but rhythm. It was the law of time. You breathe with that rhythm now. Inhale, exhale. Whisper of prophecy is not harsh. It is gentle, steady, inescapable. It does not demand your attention. It waits, patient, until you notice it. And once you do, it never leaves. As Kronos sat on his throne, he may have looked serene. The golden age continued. Fields bore fruit, rivers flowed, seas whispered. Yet within him, the whisper grew louder, not to the ears, but to the heart. He swallowed his children, but the prophecy still remained. He ruled in silence, but silence could not protect him. He heard the whisper even in his dreams. And you, listening now, feel how prophecy drifts. It does not rush. It does not shout. It hums in the background, like a note held forever. You may imagine it as the wind through tall grass, the low song of a river at night, the murmur of voices just beyond hearing. Always there, always certain. For in time, Zeus would come, hidden, nurtured, growing in secret. The prophecy was moving, slow but unstoppable, like dawn pressing gently against the horizon. Kronos could not escape it. Rhea trusted it. And the world, waiting, knew it was only a matter of time. You breathe again, and the whisper curls around you. Soft, patient, inevitable. It is not meant to frighten you. It is meant to remind you that stories, like time, unfold at their own pace. Rest in that pace now, letting the prophecy hum softly in the background of your thoughts, steady as your breath, certain as sleep. You are still surrounded by the whispers of prophecy, soft and certain, moving like a current through the silence of Kronos' reign. And then, quietly, a new moment arrives. Rhea, who has kept her vigil with patience and sorrow, feels life stirring within her once more. This time, she knows she cannot surrender. This time, the prophecy offers not only warning but hope. In the hush of night, Zeus is born. You imagine the scene not as loud or dramatic, but as hidden and tender. The Hall of Titans is silent. The stars outside glitter faintly. Nyx spreads her cloak of night, and Rhea bends close, holding the child against her. There are no trumpets, no blazing fires, only the soft breath of an infant, the warmth of a mother's arms, the hush of a secret kept safe. Rhea has known sorrow. She has felt the weight of loss as Kronos swallowed each child before. She has watched her womb become a prison of silence. But tonight, with Zeus in her arms, she refuses to surrender. You see her eyes steady, her hands careful, her heart filled with a strength that is quiet but unshakable. She rocks the infant slowly, her lullaby no louder than a whisper. Prophecy has come to her not as fear, but as comfort. This child will live. To protect him, Rhea must act with gentleness and cunning. She cradles him for a moment longer, pressing her cheek to his, breathing in his small warmth. Then, in secret, she carries him away. You imagine her footsteps soft, her gown brushing against the earth. She moves across the land, hidden by shadow, shielded by night. Every step is careful, but every step is certain. She brings the child to Crete, to a cave nestled in the quiet hills. The cave is not grand, but it is safe. The walls are cool and steady, the earth wraps close, the air hums with stillness. Inside, Rhea lays her son gently on a bed of soft leaves, as though the earth itself is rocking him to sleep.
She leaves him in the care of the nymphs, tender spirits of the land, who will feed him with honey and the milk of a goat called Amalthea.
You can almost see it, a small child resting, his breath steady, his eyes closed, while soft hands tend him. The goat bends close, offering warmth and nourishment. The nymphs whisper songs, their voices like wind weaving through reeds. Outside, the stars shimmer faintly, as though keeping watch. This is not the cry of rebellion yet. This is the hush of survival, the quiet beginning of change. Rhea does not return to Kronos empty-handed. In her arms, she carries a stone, wrapped in swaddling cloth, shaped like a child. With calm patience, she offers it to her consort. Kronos, bound by fear and prophecy, swallows it without question. There is no noise, no suspicion, only the same steady act he had done before. He believes his child is gone, and the whisper of prophecy softens for a moment in his ears. But he is mistaken. Far away, hidden in Earth's embrace, the true child lives. You linger on this act of deception, but you do not see it as sharp or cruel. You see it as love. Rhea did not fight with weapons. She fought with devotion, with secrecy, with the courage to hide what mattered most. The prophecy whispered to her, and she listened, not with fear, but with faith. She knew the cycle would turn, that time would be undone by its own child. She simply gave the prophecy the chance to breathe. The infant Zeus grows in the cave, not in noise, but in calm.
You picture him as a child surrounded by gentle guardians, his cries hushed by lullabies, his hunger met with honey, his rest wrapped in the steady arms of nature.
No golden palace held him. No throne announced his presence. Only earth and stone, nymphs and animals, soft hands and quiet care. Yet, in this silence, a future was being prepared. The Greeks often told that his cries were drowned out by the clashing of shields, performed by spirits who danced outside the cave. But tonight, you imagine the sound differently. Not clamor, not metal, but soft rhythms like hands tapping slowly on drums, like lullabies sung in low voices, enough to blur the sound of a child. You hear it as a rhythm steady as breath, steady as sleep. In this hidden cradle, the prophecy waited too. It did not rush. It did not demand. It lingered in the cave walls, in the breath of the child, in the patience of the nymphs. It was a seed planted in silence, waiting to grow. You breathe with it now, slow and steady, as if you too are waiting in the cave, sitting beside the infant, watching his chest rise and fall. For Rei, the burden is lighter. She knows she has saved one child. She knows hope remains. She returns to Kronos with her secret tucked safely away, her heart steadied by love.
And though she cannot yet free her other children, she holds onto the knowledge that time, even time itself, can be changed.
You close your eyes and see the image clearly, a cave in Crete, cool and still, a baby sleeping soundly, his mother's love wrapped around him like a blanket even in her absence.
Outside, the night sky spreads wide, and the world goes on, unaware that its future rests in the hush of stone and earth.
The prophecy does not need to shout. It only needs to wait. And so you wait with it, calm, steady, resting in the quiet birth of Zeus. You are still resting in the hush of the cave where Zeus lies cradled in secret. Around him, the air is cool, the stone walls steady, the lullabies of nymphs soft and unending. Time passes here differently. It does not rush. It does not demand. It moves the way seasons do, with patience, with small shifts that only reveal themselves when you look back. These are the soft steps toward change, the kind you hardly notice until the world has already turned. Zeus grows, though you do not hear him grow. His laughter is muffled by the cave, his cries blurred into the hum of songs. Each day, his limbs lengthen slightly, his breath grows stronger, his eyes open wider. The nymphs tend him with quiet care, offering honey, milk, and warmth. Gota Malthea bends close, her gentle body feeding him, her steady presence protecting him. In the hush of this hidden cradle, the child gathers strength. Outside, the seasons shift. You imagine the hills of Crete, their grasses swaying in the breeze, their streams flowing in patient rhythm. Spring gives way to summer, summer melts into autumn, autumn yields to winter, and yet, in each turn, the child remains safe. Change happens softly, like leaves drifting down from branches, like frost settling on fields at dawn. The world moves forward, unaware of the destiny being shaped in secret. Meanwhile, in Kronos Hall, time continues to swallow moments. He rules with silence, believing his children are gone, believing the prophecy has been hushed. He does not notice the gap, a single son missing from his stomach. Fear has blinded him, and in his blindness, hope grows quietly in the cave. The prophecy is patient. It does not rush to reveal itself. It waits, humming softly, steady as your own breath. You walk with the seasons as they pass. In one, you hear the distant bleating of goats across the hills. In another, you feel the cool shade of olive trees. In winter, the cave fills with stillness, as though the entire world is holding its breath. In spring, the streams rush again, bringing new growth, as though the earth itself celebrates the secret it carries. All the while, Zeus grows in silence, his steps soft, his future hidden. The Greeks told of guardians who danced outside the cave, clashing their weapons so that Kronos would not hear the cries of his son. But you may imagine it differently tonight, not with the noise of iron, but with the soft rhythm of drums, the low hum of chants, the careful masking of sound with gentle music. It is not warlike. It is protective. It is the sound of guardians keeping watch, steady as a heartbeat, calm as rain on leaves. Zeus learns from the earth itself. The stone walls teach him patience, their weight showing him endurance. The streams teach him persistence, flowing even when no one notices. The nymphs teach him kindness, feeding him, singing to him, treating him not as a secret but as a child to be cherished. Slowly, gently, he gathers not only strength but wisdom. His growth is not rushed. It unfolds the way dawn unfolds, perceptible at first, until suddenly the sky is lit. For Rei, each day of his survival is a blessing. She visits in her heart, if not in body, knowing her son lives, knowing that the prophecy still breathes. She carries her sorrow for the children swallowed, but she also carries a spark of joy, a quiet hope that one day they will live again. Her vigil continues, softer now, her heart strengthened by the knowledge that not all is lost. The story here is not one of battles or sudden shifts. It is one of waiting. You linger in this waiting, feeling how life often moves in small, Unnoticed steps. A child grows. The season turns. A prophecy waits. Change happens not with noise but with patience. You feel it in your own breath, steady and slow, each inhale and exhale a reminder that time moves gently forward. Zeus does not yet know his destiny. He only knows the care of nymphs, the safety of stone, the taste of honey, the warmth of Amalfi. He does not yet lift thunderbolts. He does not yet face his father. He only breathes, sleeps, grows, and in that simple rhythm, the future takes root. You close your eyes and picture the cave again. The child rests on leaves, the goat bends close, the nymphs sing softly. Outside, the stars shift across the sky, the moon waxes and wanes, the earth tilts gently through its seasons. All of it moves without hurry, without force, carrying Zeus forward toward the moment when the prophecy will be fulfilled. But tonight, you do not rush ahead. You stay in the slow rhythm, in the soft steps toward change. You linger with the patience of the seasons, the hush of growth, the comfort of a secret kept safe. And as you breathe with that rhythm, you feel yourself carried along, steady and calm, as if the world itself is rocking you into sleep. You are still resting in the hush of Zeus' hidden years, where change came softly, like seasons turning without notice. Yet even the gentlest growth cannot stay secret forever. Prophecy waits, patient but certain, and in time its threads draw tight. What was whispered in shadows begins to stir in the open. The world moves toward conflict, yet tonight you will not hear the roar of battle. You will only hear it as a distant storm, told in whispers, soft enough to lull you into calm. Zeus had grown strong in secret. He had learned patience from stone walls, resilience from rivers, and kindness from the hands that fed him. Now, quietly, he stepped forward to face what the prophecy had always promised. He would free his siblings, swallowed long ago, and together they would rise against their father, Kronos. This was the Titanomachy, the war of gods and titans. Yet to you, it unfolds not in crashing noise, but in the low hum of inevitability. Imagine the moment when Zeus returned to his mother. Rhea, weary from years of vigil, saw her son groan, and her heart filled with quiet hope. With gentleness, Zeus gave Kronos a drink, some say a potion, others say a trick of fate, and from Kronos' depths, the children emerged. One by one, Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, and Poseidon returned, not as infants but as living beings, long held in silence, now freed into the world again. You may picture it not as a violent act, but as a release, like birds slipping quietly from a cage, wings spreading in the dusk. The siblings gathered around Zeus, and together they prepared to face their father. The world seemed to hold its breath. The rivers slowed, the winds stilled, the earth waited. When the clash came, it was not sudden thunder, but a faraway rumble, like clouds heavy with rain drifting across the horizon. You do not hear screams. You hear the steady rhythm of destiny, unfolding as it must. For 10 years, they said, the war lasted. 10 years of struggle between the old and the new. The Titans, led by Kronos, stood firm, while Zeus and his siblings fought for the future. Yet tonight, you do not see weapons flashing or blood spilled. You see time itself turning, like the slow grinding of a great wheel, creaking softly as it moves from one age to the next. The sound is low, steady, almost soothing. Zeus called upon allies, and from deep within the earth came the Cyclopes, the one-eyed smiths. They did not shout as they worked. They hammered slowly, their forges glowing faintly, their hands shaping gifts, thunder, lightning, and the crack of storm. Yet even these powers, in your ears tonight, are not explosions. They are murmurs of weather far away, a faint roll across mountains, a shimmer of light on distant clouds. Beside them came the Hecatonkers, the 100-handed ones. The strength was vast, yet their presence tonight is like the steady crash of waves upon a shore, endless, rhythmic, not harsh. They lift stones, they hurl weight, but to you it is like the slow heave of the sea, carrying rocks back and forth, shaping the land over centuries. The Titans resisted, strong and unyielding. Atlas bore the weight of battle, his shoulders heavy, his stance unmoving. You see him not straining, but simply standing, like a mountain holding up the sky. Each Titan played their part, their power immense, yet even in their defiance, You hear only the low murmur of voices, the soft groan of earth shifting, the creak of roots beneath soil. And so the war stretched on, year after year, not in chaos, but in rhythm. 10 years of struggle told like 10 beats of a drum, steady, patient, inevitable. The old order held, then wavered. The new order pressed forward, then paused. The world was balanced between them, as though time itself hesitated, waiting to decide which way to lean. At last, the whispers grew stronger. The siblings, guided by Zeus, pressed forward with quiet resolve. The gifts of the Cyclopes, thunder, lightning, storm, flashed gently, like lanterns in the distance. The strength of the 100-handed ones swayed the battle, their many arms moving like tides. The Titans, one by one, began to falter. Not with cries of defeat, but with long sighs like old trees falling in a forest. Their time ended, their strength spent. The war closed the way it began, in silence deeper than before. Ouranos fell. His reign ended, not with a scream, but with a whisper. The old was swallowed by time itself. The new rose, steady and sure. The siblings stood together, not in triumph shouted to the heavens, but in quiet relief, breathing slowly, feeling the weight of destiny lift. You linger here, not in the noise of victory, but in the hush that follows. The storm has passed, leaving the air cool, the skies clear, the ground steady once more. The Titans are gone, sent deep into the earth, their names still remembered, but their power hushed. The new gods, the Olympians, stand at the threshold of their reign. And you, listening now, feel not the clash but the calm, not the war but the whisper. For the Greeks, Titanomachy was the great turning of ages.
For you tonight, it is only a distant murmur, a reminder that even great struggles can be told softly, like waves far away, like wind brushing through trees, like the low hum of time moving forward.
You rest in that hum, steady and calm, your breath falling in rhythm with the story, your body settling deeper into quiet. You're still within the soft echoes of the Titanomachy, but the sound of struggle has already faded into distance. What remains now is not the clash, not the rumble, but the hush that follows. It is like the air after rain, clean, cool, and still. The Titans have fallen silent. The Olympians stand quietly in their place, and the world exhales, long and low, as though it, too, has been waiting for calm. The Titans, once towering presences, are no longer free to roam the earth. One by one, they have been set aside, their voices muffled, their steps stilled. Some were cast deep into Tartarus, the shadowed depths below the earth, where the walls are strong and the gates are guarded. Tonight, you do not picture it as torment. You picture it as a long rest, a place where ancient figures lie down, their strength folded away, their eyes closed in eternal slumber. Their time is over, and they yield to quiet. Atlas, the steadfast one, bore a different weight. He was given the sky to hold, not as punishment in thunder, but as duty in silence. Imagine him standing tall on the edge of the world, the heavens arched across his shoulders. It is not strain that you see, but steadiness like a great pillar holding up a roof, unmoving, uncomplaining, eternal. His labor becomes the rhythm of the world itself, steady as breath, constant as the stars above. The Olympians gather now, their new order just beginning. They do not shout their victory. They do not rush into noise.
They stand, breathing slowly, each sibling beside the other, feeling the hush of an age that is closed.
You imagine them on a quiet hillside, the wind brushing past, their hearts steady. They are not yet the rulers of stories, not yet the familiar figures of temples and prayers. They are simply children who have stepped into their destiny, aware of the silence that follows struggle. The earth itself. This was a pause. Gaia, who had borne so much, stretched her slopes in relief. The rivers flowed more gently. The night spread wide, calm and patient. Even the stars seemed to shimmer more softly, as if the sky itself wanted to rest. The lull after storm is not emptiness, it is healing. It is the world remembering how to be still. You linger here, in this quiet. You do not hurry past it. You feel how essential it is, the space between endings and beginnings. Without the lull, the storm would weigh too heavily. Without rest, change would be too sharp. But here, In the pause, the heart finds calm. You let that calm settle over you, slow and steady, like a blanket laid across your shoulders. The Titans, though defeated, are not forgotten. Their names remain, whispered in the background of the world. Oceanus still circles the earth, his waters unbroken. Mnemosyne still holds memory, keeping the past alive. The mist still embodies order, her quiet balance continuing. They are not gone. They are simply quieter now, their roles folded gently into the fabric of existence. Even in defeat, they remain part of the lull, steady presences beneath the surface. Ouranos himself, once ruler of time, is silent. His reign has ended, his fears fulfilled. Yet his presence lingers as a reminder that even the greatest must yield, that even time has seasons. You may picture him now not as devourer, but as a shadow fading, leaving behind only the quiet rhythm of moments slipping forward. He no longer holds the throne. He has stepped aside, and the hush of his absence is heavy but peaceful. The Greeks remembered this age not with noise, but with reverence. They knew that after storms, there must be silence, and in silence, renewal. They saw how even gods needed rest, how even myths required a pause. And so they told of the lull that followed the Titanomachy, the hush that allowed the new order to take root. You breathe into that hush now. Inhale, exhale. The storm has passed. The air is clear. Your body loosens, your mind softens. You feel as if you are lying in a meadow after rain, the ground damp but fresh, the sky washed clean, the world quiet except for the soft hum of insects. It is a place where nothing presses, nothing demands, only calm remains. In this pause, Zeus and his siblings begin to imagine their roles.
Hestia tending the hearth, Demeter caring for the fields, Hera shaping the bonds of family, Poseidon claiming the seas, Hades the underworld, Zeus himself the sky.
Yet tonight they are not rushing into their duties. Tonight they are only breathing, resting in the lull, feeling the stillness after storm. And you, too, are resting. You do not rush ahead to their reign. You stay in this pause, letting its quiet cradle you. You know storms come and go, struggles rise and fall, but always there is a lull afterward, space to breathe, to gather strength, to be still. You are in that space now. Let it hold you, gentle and steady, like the world humming softly in your ear. The Titanomachy has ended. The Olympians have risen. But the moment you keep tonight is the silence between, the hush after storm, the lull that carries you deeper into calm. You are still resting in the hush that followed the storm of the Titanomachy. The world is calmer now, the air steady, the earth breathing softly beneath you. Yet even when an age ends, not all of it disappears. Some pieces remain, like echoes lingering after a song has faded. The Titans may have been defeated, but a few of them carried on, their presence folded into the fabric of the world. Tonight, you linger with these gentle echoes, Atlas, Prometheus, and memory itself. First, you picture Atlas. His story is often told with weight, with strain, as though he groans beneath the heavens. But tonight, you see him differently. Imagine him standing tall at the edge of the world, the wide sky resting across his shoulders. He does not stumble. He does not cry out. He stands like a mountain, steady and eternal. The heavens arch above him, star-strewn and endless, and he holds them with patience. His task is not frantic, but rhythmic. The stars rise and fall, the constellations drift, and Atlas keeps his watch unchanging. To you, he feels less like a prisoner and more like a pillar, a silent guardian keeping the sky in place so that the earth beneath can rest. As you breathe, you match his rhythm. Inhale, the sky lifts. Exhale, the sky steadies. His burden is great, yet his strength is greater. And though the story calls it punishment, you sense in it a kind of harmony. Atlas becomes part of the balance, a figure of quiet endurance, holding the heavens not with noise but with constancy. From Atlas, your thoughts drift to Prometheus. He's clever, thoughtful, always looking beyond what was given. Among the Titans, he was remembered with gentleness, for he sided with Zeus and the Olympians. His name means forethought, and that is how you picture him, sitting quietly, eyes lifted, always planning, always imagining what might come. Prometheus is best known for giving fire to humankind. Yet tonight, You do not see fire as a blaze or a roar. You see it as a small flame cupped in two hands, flickering softly, steadying the dark. Is warmth for a family gathered close, light for a story told at night, comfort for weary hands. Prometheus gave not a weapon, but a gift, a soft brightness that turned cold nights into bearable ones. In your mind, he becomes a friend to humankind, a quiet companion who wanted life to be gentler, warmer, more secure. Even when he suffered for this gift, chained to stone, visited by pain, you may think of him differently now. Imagine not the sharp edge of torment, but the endurance beneath it. His spirit did not break. His gift was never undone. Fire remained with humans, a legacy that continued long after chains had rusted. Prometheus is remembered not for his suffering, but for his care, the care of one who thought ahead, who gave quietly, who offered light. And then, softly, you return to Mnemosyne, memory itself. She too was a titan, and though her power was quieter than others, it endured long after the war. Memory is not a throne or a weapon. It's the whisper that keeps stories alive, the soft hand that carries names across centuries. Without her, the tale of the titans would have vanished. With her, it remains, drifting from one age to another like a song sung gently at night. You feel her presence now, not heavy but comforting. She is the reason you remember faces long gone, the reason you recall lullabies, the reason the story you are hearing tonight has survived at all. Mnemosyne kept the thread unbroken, weaving past into present, present into future. Her gift was continuity, not noise but persistence. You rest in her presence, as though you are wrapped in a quilt made of remembered lives. Together, Atlas, Prometheus and Mnemosyne form a trio of echoes, endurance, foresight and memory. They are not rulers. They are not conquerors. They are the ones who linger quietly, shaping the world, not with force, but with gentleness. Imagine them not as defeated titans, but as guardians, Atlas holding up the sky, Prometheus keeping the flame, Mnemosyne preserving the story. Each in their own way, they ensure that life continues, that warmth remains, that names are not forgotten. You breathe slowly, and their gifts settle into you. From Atlas, you feel steadiness. From Prometheus, quiet care. From Mnemosyne, the comfort of remembering. These are not loud virtues, but they are lasting. They carry through ages, through storms, through changes of rule. They are the lullabies of the world itself. The Greeks knew that even when one order ends, parts of it remain. No story is erased. It is only softened, transformed. The Titans live on, not in thrones or armies, but in the elements of life itself, in the sky, in the fire, in the memory. And so, as you rest tonight, you rest with them too, feeling their quiet presence, their steady gifts, their soft echoes. The war is over. The storm has passed. The lull continues. Yet in this lull, you are not alone. You are held by the strength of Atlas, warmed by the fire of Prometheus, and comforted by the memory of Mnemosyne. And as you breathe, you realize that these quiet guardians are not faraway myths. They are with you even now, in the sky above your head, in the warmth of your home, in the stories you carry. You close your eyes, and their presence surrounds you. The heavens are steady. The fire glows softly. Memories whisper, and you, wrapped in their company, drift deeper into calm. You are still resting with the quiet echoes of Atlas, Prometheus, and memory. Their gifts linger in the background, steadiness, foresight, remembrance. And now, as the story draws closer to its close, you are invited to step back and see the whole picture. What was once chaos has become a family tree, wide and intricate, its branches reaching across ages. Tonight, you do not trace it in detail. You simply rest within its shape, seeing it as a tree at rest, its roots deep, its leaves still, its story whole. At the base of the tree lies chaos, the beginning. From chaos came Gaia, the earth, and Ouranos, the sky. You picture them as roots and trunk, the ground beneath your feet and the arch above your head. They were the first pair, steady and vast, forming the frame of the world. The children, the Titans, spread outward like strong branches, each carrying its own gift, rivers, memory, light, order. The tree grew wide, sheltering the world beneath it. The Titans' children came next, like smaller branches, bending outward, in new directions. Rhea became mother to the Olympians. From her care came Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, Poseidon, and Zeus. You imagine them as younger shoots, green and fresh, pushing outward toward the sun. The family tree extended, its branches reaching higher, carrying new life while still rooted in the old. Even those who fell, Kronos, swallowed by his fear, the titans sent into shadow, remain part of the trunk. They do not vanish, they remain in the rings of the tree, visible if you look closely, their presence recorded in the wood. Every family carries such layers, some branches broken, some hidden, yet all part of the same whole. The Greeks knew this, and so they remembered the titans not as erased, but as part of the lineage, part of the rhythm of inheritance. You may picture this tree beneath a quiet sky, its leaves unmoving, its branches wide. It is not noisy. It is not restless. It simply stands, carrying within it all the names, all the lives, all the gifts. From chaos to Gaia, from Gaia to Titans, from Titans to Olympians, the whole story rests inside its shape. And tonight, you rest there too, leaning against its trunk, sheltered by its branches. The family tree is more than names. It is a map of existence. Oceanus, the river, still circles the world. Iberian's light still warms your skin. Themis' order still guides the rhythm of day and night. Mnemosyne's memory still whispers in your thoughts. Prometheus' fire still glows in every hearth. And above all, Atlas still holds the sky, his shoulders steady, so that the leaves of the tree may rustle in peace. The tree is not only history, it is the present, the world around you, the life you live. Zeus now sits at the highest branch, ruler of the sky.
His siblings take their places too, Poseidon among the seas, Hades in the underworld, Hera by his side, Demeter in the fields, Hestia by the hearth.
The Olympians are young compared to the Titans, but they are part of the same tree.
They are not separate, they are continuations, buds grown from older wood, inheriting the strength of roots that run back to chaos itself.
You feel the calm in this vision. The tree does not hurry. It grows slowly, season by season, year by year. It holds storms, it endures winters, it welcomes springs. It does not rush its branches outward, nor does it let go of its roots. It simply stands, steady and patient, carrying the whole of its life within. The family of Titans and Olympians is like this, an organism of time, living, enduring, resting. You take a breath and lean into its trunk. The bark is rough, but strong. The branches arch overhead, leaves whispering faintly in the wind. You sense the generations within it. Each ring a story, each branch a name, each leaf a memory. And though so much has happened, birth, betrayal, prophecy, war, the tree itself is calm. It holds everything quietly, without judgment, without noise. The Greeks told these stories not only to explain the world, but to remember that all things are connected. Families stretch backward and forward. Generations rise and fall. The old gives way to the new, but both remain part of the same whole. The family tree of Titans and Olympians is your reminder that nothing is ever lost. It is only folded into the rings, the branches, the roots. Let this image carry you deeper into calm. You see yourself beneath the tree, its branches stretching wide above you, its roots steady below you. The air is still, the leaves unmoving. All is quiet. The story has been told, not in shouts but in whispers, not in battles but in breaths. The tree rests, and so do you. You're still leaning beneath the family tree, its roots deep, its branches wide, its leaves soft against the sky.
You have walked through the whole story of the Titans, from chaos to Gaia, from Gaia to the children of earth and sky, from their reign to their fall, from whispers of prophecy to the rise of Zeus and his siblings.
And now the story slows, softening like twilight fading into night. It is time to let the tale rest, the way the world rests when the day is done. Think back to where it began, with chaos, a quiet emptiness, not frightening but open, waiting to be filled. Out of that silence came Gaia and Ouranos, earth and sky, steady and vast. Their children, the Titans, filled the space with presence, rivers, light, memory, order. For a time they reigned, steady as the turning of seasons. Yet even Titans are part of time, and in time they, too, gave way. Kronos swallowed his children, the prophecy whispered, Zeus was hidden, and slowly the cycle turned. The Titanomachy came, not as a clash you could not bear, but as a distant storm, told in whispers, inevitable as the passing of seasons. And when it was over, there was calm again. The Titans rested in shadow, Atlas held the sky. Prometheus gave his gentle flame, Mnemosyne carried memory forward. The Olympians rose, children of Re, children of hope, carrying the story into a new age. And through it all, the world remained steady, as if the tree of life never stopped growing, never stopped holding its branches to the sky. You see it now as a complete circle. The beginning gave way to the middle to the end, and the end to new beginnings. The Titans are remembered, the Olympians carry on, and the story flows like a river, never rushing, never stopping, always moving with quiet grace. As you breathe, you realize the story has not been one of noise or fear. It has been one of presence. Earth beneath you, sky above you, rivers circling, seasons turning. Mothers watching, fathers ruling, children rising. Every moment part of the same rhythm. The Greeks told it to explain the world, but tonight you have heard it as a lullaby, slow unfolding of names and moments, meant to soothe, to comfort, to carry you toward rest. You return once more to the cave in Crete, where Rhea laid her infant gently on a bed of leaves. You remember the hush of nymphs, the hum of lullabies, the warmth of Amalthea. That small child was the promise of change, the whisper of a new age. And now, with the story told, you realize that you, too, are like that child cradled in the arms of Earth, watched over by the sky, held gently in the rhythm of time. The Titans rest now, their voices soft, their presences quiet. The Olympians take their places, not in noise, but in steady watchfulness. Atlas holds the heavens, Prometheus tends the flame, Mnemosyne keeps the memory. The family tree is whole, every name a branch, every branch a part of the whole. And you, resting beneath it, are part of that hush. You are listening not as a stranger, but as someone folded gently into the story, sheltered by its branches, soothed by its rhythm. Your breath slows. The story slows with it. The voices of Gaia and Ouranos drift away, the whispers of prophecy fade, the rumble of war softens, the lull after storm deepens. What remains is stillness, gentle and unbroken. The story has been told, and now it rests as you rest. You may imagine a final picture, the great tree beneath the night sky, at last steady at its edge, the stars spread wide, the earth quiet. In the distance, rivers hum, seas breathe, winds carry the faintest of songs. All is calm, all is at peace, and in that peace, the story of the Titans closes, not with a roar, but with a sigh. So tonight, you let it go. You let the family tree rest. You let the names grow quiet. You let the myths, so grand in daylight, become soft in the dark. They do not press for attention. They do not demand to be remembered. They simply hum in the background, steady as your own breath, as you sink deeper into rest. The Titans are gone. The Olympians have risen. But you are here, held between earth and sky, rocked gently by the rhythm of time. The story has been told, and now it is only silence. A silence that comforts, a silence that soothes, a silence that invites you into sleep. Good night. Then, good night to Gaia, to Ouranos, to Kronos and Rhea. Good night to Oceanus and Hyperion, to Themis and Mnemosyne. Good night to Atlas, to Prometheus, to the Olympians who now stand guard. Good night to the tree itself, its branches swaying softly in the breeze. Good night to you, listening still, ready to drift. The story is over. The world is calm. You are safe. You are cradled. You are at rest.